Aliens were getting wiped out with no one left until they begged humanity for help. "We need help." Counselor Morth Enes spoke the words into the transmission, and they hung in the underground bunker like smoke. Not a plea, just a statement of fact. "Every allied civilization is burning. We are calling everyone. If anyone can hear this, we need help." The bunker was deep, older than the city above, built when the Varathi still remembered war. Cold stone walls, steady lights. The screens around the chamber showed what was left of Varatha Prime. Fire columns rising, the capital burning in the night cycle. All around the room, communications officers kept trying the same frequencies. The Irani Collective, the Dravani Federation, the Nissi courts. Each attempt returned silence or partial transmissions showing those worlds burning too. The pattern was clear. This was planned. This was coordinated across 47 star systems in a 2-hour window. This was inevitable. A junior technician named Lyros approached Enes with a data tablet. "Ambassador, I have run through every known allied frequency, but there is one more entry, at the very bottom of the archive, from 30 years ago." Lyros's voice was quiet. "There is a species we contacted once. The report says we evaluated them as pregalactic, not worth ongoing engagement, but the frequency is still in the system, still live." Enes held the ancient contact registry, a clay-based device, obsolete, maintained only by archivists. Its interface displayed a 30-year-old file, humanity noted but dismissed as pregalactic. The frequency carved into its base had not been used in decades. "This is the last card," Enes said, "and we are about to play it. I wish I could tell you it ended there. It didn't. Humanity had been waiting." 24 hours earlier, the council hall stood intact, crystalline architecture catching light, gardens visible through the openings. Enes had spent his 200-year career weaving treaties across 47 star systems, believing that diplomacy was strength, that refusal to wage war was the highest courage, that understanding someone's needs was more powerful than crushing them. He was reviewing trade agreements with the Dravani when the attack came. By then, 30 light-years away, something else was already in motion. A classified briefing room on Earth, a human voice asking the question Enes would never hear. "We were told we are not ready, but what if we decide the galaxy is not ready for us?" Every intelligence probe confirmed it. The Varathi were right about peace, but the Varathi were unprepared for war. The Vorthian Dominion was building fleets in secret across the galaxy. No one stopped them because everyone was too confident in alliances that no longer held. Humanity's decision: build in secret, build for 30 years, build something the galaxy forgot to fear. Construction yards in the asteroid belt, ships hollowed from moons, fleets shaded by Jupiter's magnetic field and Saturn's rings, not elegant, designed for survival, thick armor, close-range weapons, fighter craft, a tactic no other species used, marine boarding teams, 3 decades of training, 3 decades of waiting. Fleet Commander Isan Westmore stood in her quarters on the human flagship. Small room, no luxury, a single photograph, 2 children on a beach, squinting at the sun. She had slept 3 hours a night for 30 years. Everyone on her crew had done the same. They were ready. Enes held the contact registry in the bunker and made the decision. Lyros sent the message on the old frequency, hardly hoping anyone would respond. "We are the Varathi. We are under attack by the Vorthian Dominion. Our world is burning. Our allies have fallen. We have no fleet, no weapons, no army. If anyone among humanity can hear this, please, we need help." The response came within minutes, impossibly fast. "Signal received. We are coming. Fleet deployment authorized. ETA 14 hours. Hold the line. Commander Westmore, United Earth Command." Enes read the message 3 times. Around him, people began to cry, not from sorrow, from the first spark of hope in hours. Lyros stared at the transmission. The response came too fast. Either they were incredibly close, or he stopped. His eyes widened. Either way, we did not know who we were calling. Warlord Kethex of the Vorthian hierarchy stood in his command center as the sensor reports climbed. 1,000 incoming signatures, then 3,000, then 5,000. His computer systems could not count that high. The system crashed trying to render 12,000. Kethex was a conqueror. He had destroyed 11 civilizations. He had never lost a battle. He looked at the incoming numbers and made a decision. All ships engage. Long-range attack pattern. Overwhelm them with firepower. He was certain. Numbers were numbers. He had survived through superior force and tactical discipline. He would survive this the same way. The Vorthian fleet opened fire. Energy cannons and plasma torpedoes at maximum range. The barrage was devastating. It had destroyed Irani cruisers. It had shattered Dravani fleets. The human ships hit. Armor glowed white-hot. Some smaller frigates died. A destroyer tumbled, its engine section gone. Then the smoke cleared. The human fleet was still coming. Westmore's voice came across all channels. All ships, close to engagement range. Fighter wings, launch, Marines, prepare boarding procedures. Hundreds of small fighter craft poured from human carriers. They were unlike anything the Vorthians had ever encountered. Too small to lock the big guns onto. Too fast to predict. Too agile to hit. They moved between Vorthian capital ships and fired missiles and rail rounds into engine ports and sensor arrays at point-blank range. Vorthian ships that were designed to fight enemies at thousands of kilometers found themselves stung from meters away. They had no defense against this. Breaching pods launched from human hulls, small armored capsules carrying squads of Marines in exoskeleton suits. The pods slammed through Vorthian plating. Inside, Marines moved through enemy corridors with terrifying efficiency. The Vorthians were larger and physically stronger, but they had never trained for hand-to-hand combat inside their own ships. They were a species that conquered through bombardment, not through the person standing 3 meters away with a blade. Ship after ship went dark as human boarding parties seized control of systems. Vorthian crews found themselves fighting 2 wars at once, attacked from outside, attacked from inside. Kethex ordered retreat. His fleet began pulling back, trying to restore the distance where their weapons had advantage. The order arrived too late. Westmore had already anticipated this. Her fastest ships had swept forward and cut off every escape route. The Vorthian fleet was surrounded, trapped. Amidst the chaos, a human frigate named the UNC Defiant detected a Vorthian bombardment cruiser breaking away from the main battle. Its target, a refugee convoy fleeing the planet. 4,718 Varathi civilians, including children, trying to reach open space. Commander Eamon Hayes did not hesitate. Helm, put us between that cruiser and the convoy. All weapons, target the enemy ship. Communications, broadcast to the convoy, get clear, we will hold them. The Defiant moved into position. A tiny ship placing itself directly between a giant and the people it wanted to kill. The Vorthian cruiser opened fire. For 11 minutes, the Defiant held. The frigate shook. Armor plating tore away. Systems failed. Fires broke out on 3 decks. The bridge crew fought with extraordinary skill and courage. Damage control teams raced through burning corridors. The medical bay filled with wounded. The AI reported system after system going offline. Hayes sat in his command chair, monitoring the refugee convoy's escape trajectory on his heads-up display. The transports were moving, slowly, then faster, the point-of-no-return timer counting down. At 10 minutes, Hayes ordered the crew to the escape pods. Most went. Some stayed at their stations, keeping the weapons firing until the last moment. Rodriguez, the tactical officer who had stayed, spoke across the comm. "Sir, the convoy is clear. All civilian ships have entered FTL." Hayes looked at the trajectory, looked at the convoy's destination marker. He watched all 4,718 souls move to safety. He smiled. The next Vorthian volley tore the Defiant apart. Of the 112-person crew, 79 escaped in pods. They were picked up within the hour. Commander Hayes was not among them. 33 crew members died with the ship. Every refugee survived. In one of the transport ships, a Varathi family watched the Defiant tear apart in the view screen. The father held his mate's hand. His voice trembled slightly. They answered when we called. They came when no one else would. We will not forget. The rest of the Vorthian fleet died by precision. Westmore conducted the battle like a surgeon, isolating enemy groups, destroying them one by one. Kethex's flagship, the Sovereign Ascendant, was the last vessel still fighting. Its shields were failing. Its weapons were running low. Human marines were boarding. Sergeant Major Elena Vasquez led the boarding party to the command bridge. She placed a charge on the door and blew it. Kethex stood alone, his officers having fled. Vasquez pointed her weapon. On the ground, now. The warlord of the Vorthian Dominion, conqueror of 11 civilizations, got on the ground. The Varathi sky cleared within 14 hours of humanity's arrival. Kethex was held in a detention cell aboard the UNC Cascade, not tortured, not abused, simply held awaiting trial. Westmore visited him once. She looked down at him with an expression that was nothing, not anger, not triumph, not hatred, nothing at all. You will stand before the galactic conquered. You will answer for crimes against sentient life. You will never command a ship again. Something new entered Kethex's eyes, not the fear of pain, the fear of irrelevance, of being unmade. Of being a force that had discovered it was mortal. The ruins of the Varathi Council Hall stood open to the sky, cracked walls, rubble everywhere. The mosaic floor depicting 3,000 years of Varathi history lay buried. Enes arrived early. He had cleaned himself up as best he could. His robes were still torn, but they had been washed. He found a ceremonial pin in the rubble and attached it to his collar. It made him feel like himself again. Westmore appeared. She looked exhausted. Her uniform was clean but wrinkled. Dark circles under her eyes. She was short and lean and quiet. She looked like someone's tired mother, not the commander of the most powerful fleet in galactic history. She extended her hand. Enes took it. They sat on blocks of rubble that had once been walls. "Why did you come?" Enes asked. "You had no treaty with the Varathi, no alliance. We met once 30 years ago and we were not kind. We turned you away. We dismissed you. We gave you nothing, so why did you come?" Westmore was quiet for a long moment. "You asked for help." Enes waited for more, for the strategic explanation, the political calculation, the list of demands. "That is it," Westmore said. "That is all the reason we need. Where I come from, if someone asks you for help, you help them. That is the rule, not because you owe them anything, not because helping them will benefit you, because they asked and they are in trouble and you help." "But the cost," Enes said quietly. "Your people died, the Defiant, Commander Hayes, the Marines you lost. How can you accept that cost for a species you owed nothing to?" Westmore's expression changed. Grief, carefully controlled but undeniably present. "I do not accept it easily," she said. "Every person we lost has a family back on Earth who will never see them again. Commander Hayes had a daughter. She is 4 years old. She will grow up knowing her father died defending people he had never met on a planet he had never visited, for species that did not even know humanity existed a week ago. But the alternative was worse. The alternative was sitting at home safe behind our borders while your civilization was wiped out. Living the rest of our lives knowing that someone asked us for help and we said no. Humans have a long history, Ambassador. It is not a clean history. We have done terrible things to each other, but we have also done extraordinary things. And every time we look back at our history, the moments we are most ashamed of are the times we stood by and did nothing while others suffered. So yes, the cost is real, but I would rather carry the weight of the lives we lost than carry the shame of the lives we refused to save." Enes sat in silence, a diplomat's silence, the silence of someone whose entire worldview was being reconstructed. "Your species is not what we thought." "No," Westmore said, and for the first time she smiled. It was a small, tired smile. "We rarely are." Human and Varathi worked side by side. The species were different. The Varathi were tall, thin, four-eyed, calm. The humans were shorter, varied, loud, emotional, impatient. Communication was difficult. Customs clashed. But underneath the differences was something shared, a desire to fix what was broken, to help those who were hurting, to make things better. They cleared the ruins. They built shelters. They installed generators. The sound of work filled the broken city. The ancient contact registry sat on a new display in the reconstructed council hall. A new label had been added beneath it, the device that saved civilization, kept in memory of those who answered when hope seemed impossible. The old device had been transformed, a hybrid now, half Varathi engineering, half human technology, built by both species working together. The old frequency was still there, but now it was connected to something stronger, a direct channel, no more 30-year gaps. No more dismissals, no more silence. Inez stood in the same observation slit where he had watched his world burn. Westmore appeared beside him, neither spoke. He simply stood and watched as the new day came. The sky was still thick with smoke, but the fire was gone. Generators hummed in the distance. Humans and Varathi were working in the reconstructed courtyard below, building shelters, moving rubble, laying the foundation of something new. The dawn broke over Varatha Prime. The light caught the crystalline architecture, what was left of it, what would be rebuilt. Inez looked at Westmore. She looked at the rising sun, and together they watched as hope took root in the ashes.